Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to get back on this 2017 Ninja 650. I did do some work on it off camera. It's simple stuff, air filter, battery, and the chain. So those are pretty simple things. I didn't want to bore you with a video on that. But here is what it looks like now. I did receive the nose fairing here because this one is pretty rough, and I really didn't want the new buyer to have to stare at that and then beat me up on the price. But the air filter's in, pretty simple, few screws, air filter's in. No big deal, nothing worth videoing there. Tank is back on and secured, new battery is in, and I just finished installing the gold X-ring chain. Pretty great deal on it. It's a 520 chain, just like the bike has, and it was like $36 shipped. I mean, with the master link, I mean, you couldn't beat that. The original chain is shot. As the previous video showed, the links were locked up, and it's just rusted to crap as the bike was sitting out. So I'm gonna get this bike started, and before I start putting it all back together and swapping out this nose fairing and then getting the plastics back on there, I actually want to test ride this bike because as of right now the engine does run, but the transmission is unknown. So I want to go through all the gears, make sure that nothing's popping out of it. First, second, third, fourth, no gears are popping out under load. And you really can't do that sitting there at idle on a stand with no load on the transmission. So I'm gonna have to figure something out how to strap my my cell phone to my chest so you guys can actually see this. So stay with me, and the next process will be riding it down the street for a little bit. Hang tight. All right, I'm gonna have to put my phone in my pocket. Hopefully you guys can see this. Trying to avoid doing exactly what I'm doing. Alright, I don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll see afterward. I do have a check engine light on here, but I'm guessing that's when the original engine blew. I think I got to put some miles on it. I did Google it, and they said you got to ride it, I don't know, for like over 20 miles an hour for 10 minutes or something. It's a nice brisk 36-degree day here in Chicago, so that will probably not happen. Alright, it went into gear, that's a good sign. Clutch is literally right off. I was told this engine had 4,000 miles, so we don't know. Oh shit, it's cold. Brakes were good. I mean, this bike is very nimble. It's a middleweight bike. Honestly, it's pretty fun, and this is just going down a private road in my area. definitely doesn't have that 4-cylinder 600cc horsepower you get from the Ninja 600 or a Gixxer 600. It does sound really good with that Yoshi pipe. Definitely happy with it. I can't take any more. I am freezing. Get it in the garage and we can start putting this thing together and see if we can get it sold. Winter or late fall, winter market in Chicago or Illinois, whatever, it's tough to sell bikes. People aren't buying something they can't use right now. So I will definitely put it up on the marketplace and see if we can get it sold. But I'm not betting. I'm not saying I'm gonna get it sold. I'm not thinking it's going to be sold, being that it's winter, but we'll hold it for the spring, and then either way, you'll get an update on when it will be sold. You'll see it depart, and then I'll get you the numbers of what I have into it and what I sold it for and how much I'm making on it. These motorsports, it's tough to make money. You're not going to make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a bike. It's just not going to happen. If you can make $500 to $1,000 on it, just flipping it, that's a good profit. So it will definitely sell. I decided not to get that left side fairing because the one I have is still in pretty good condition. It is cracked a little bit. That was probably me when I pulled it off, trying to figure out how to get the damn thing off. But we're going to leave that left side fairing as is and replace that nose fairing so we can get the bike looking pretty decent. It's a nice bike. It does have some aftermarket stuff. It was laid down. You can definitely tell it was laid down. There's some damage on the bar ends, the clutch lever, a little bit on the little scrape on the tank. But it's a used bike, and the price I'm going to list it for, no one should really have a problem with it. So let's get it back in the garage, and let's get this thing back together. All right, I guess we'll leave it outside. It's just as cold as in the garage as it is outside, so let's do it. So we have some stuff arrived from eBay. This was the only black nose fairing that they had listed, so I had no choice. There was no other well, there was one other option. This was the only good one that was usable. The other one had a lot of rash on the side. This one has a little scratch here, but some minor scratching here, but it's much better than this big chunk that's cracked and damaged. So let's get disassembling. I have no idea how to get this nose fairing off, so I'm just looking at what I have to remove to do so. Looks like I may have to remove a lot more screws. Maybe pull this whole nose out. There's I got a little nervous. There's a little bit of oil. There's a little bit oil dripping on the floor there. I forgot. I literally just lubed up that chain. The chain came with a tube of oil, and I just slapped it all on there. So that's just residual oil dripping from the chain. I was worried that it was from the engine, but it is not. Let's see here. All right, let's grab some tools. We're back with the Allen wrench. Oh, man. That ride was cold. Whew. I'm the type of motorcycle rider that once it hits, mid 60s, I stop riding. So I just don't like the cold. I don't like being wrapped up in all gear and heavy coats and stuff like that. It's just, to me, that's not fun riding. I enjoy the wind in my face and t-shirts and some shorts. I don't mind riding in that. I don't ride anymore in the city. It's just too dangerous. So when I ride, I go way out there, way out in the country where there's no one no other cars out there being stupid. Well, at least you can see the stupid cars, but I shouldn't say there's no other stupid cars, but I guess the moral of the story is ride safe, guys and girls. Man, put a bunch of screws on this thing. For those that have watched all the videos, I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget where some of these screws go. So I'm going to rely on you to help me put those back. Because I've said it many times, my memory is shot. Alright, so that is that. There is a bunch of, I think I got to take these top panels off. I mean, for an affordable bike, they sure in hell did put a lot of screws on here to cover everything up. I'm going to show you how to take these off. I have no idea. Like, how are you supposed to get that? Really? That is another screw on that side. I gotta figure out for you guys how to speed up my video. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and they submit the video in fast forward. You know, 1x speed or 2x speed. I don't know how to do that. So if any of you guys can help me on that, because I know some of my videos do get a little bit long and boring. You're watching me remove screws, and that's why I didn't make a video of him putting in the new air filter in the battery. I mean, that's a waste of time and pretty boring TV. Man, so many plastic pieces. Alright, that's that. Doesn't look like I have to separate this. But there's a lot of crap in here. on. I'm just trying not to pull and yank because I don't know what to expect or what to break. So I think I should just take the fairing stay off. I think that would be the easiest, right? There's just so much crap in there I can't see. Alright, figured it out. There's two screws. You can see this on the side. So there's a screw right here. Oh, can you see this? Where the hell's my finger? I don't know if you can see it here. So there's two screws. One right here. That's a little tab right here, point at one right here, and then the same one on the other side. And then the headlight has the little pins in there that go into the clip. And you just, once you pull those two screws out, you pull on the top, and boom, the light comes off as an assembly. You don't have to take the fairing stay or anything off there. So the only thing that's holding it on now is a bunch of electrical connectors and lights. Oh, nice little LED light there. Just disconnect those so we can get it out of there. There's a connector right here. Get to. That's one connector. The other one on the other side. Perfect. All right, there it is. All right, so this is what we're looking at. This is where the two screws mount on the lower section to hold the light in, and then the tabs. Pull the two connectors, and then the whole thing comes out. It did pop out two lights here, but let me push those back in. Oh, that was loose. Nice. Both the light sockets weren't installed properly. Looks like someone put aftermarket like xenons in here or something. Unless they come with xenon, you tell me. I have no idea, but this is wedged in there. Let's see. I can't close the cap because this connector's in the way, so that doesn't make it watertight. If water gets in there, there goes your bulbs, and they are not cheap. Let's see if I can get this. They just threw it in the corner. Jesus. Huh. Alright, after playing with those headlights for, I don't know, about 20 minutes, I was able to get them back in. Of course, this one is being stubborn. Alright, there we go. Alright, so the light covers are back on to get that all sealed up. Moisture hits those, that's all she wrote. Alright, moving on. So let's swap out this old one. Let's get the headlight out of here. Looks like it's just one. Only 2 Phillips. So there's the separation of that. Looks like we have to separate the bottom piece, and it looks like two more Phillips screws will separate the bottom, and then we could swap everything out. By far, this bike has been the worst to take the fairings off. I mean, that is a lot of screws and clamps, and it's crazy how much they put in here. Will you let go? There we go. There's the old one. It's definitely the same color. That's good. I was hoping they didn't have a different black. This is like a black with metallic flake in it. Making sure I don't need to swap anything over. So it looks like everything is there. All right. Ugh. Should have stayed in the garage. It's cold. Alright. So you guys are doing this on the floor. I don't see it. See this here. Didn't realize I was aiming at the sky. light sits in these little rubber bumpers to hold in there. It's nice. And then put those 2 screws back in there. My nose is running. Sorry about the boogers, guys. Check everything. Put this back on and plug everything back up, and don't step on the plastic to break more. Clip. Don't forget to plug your connector back in, or 2 connectors. You got 1 on each side for the lights. Put that screw back in there to hold it. 2 screws, you got 1 on each side. I guess if you have one of these bikes, you can get a manual to figure out how to do this. I'm cheap, so didn't want to get a manual. Save me a little time to, instead of trying to figure out how to disassemble the bike. But honestly, the engine swap was very simple. I didn't think it was going to be that easy. Plastics on these things, wow. They really put a lot of little pop rivets. Not the little pop rivets, but the push rivets, screws, fasteners. There's a lot on here. Alright, it is on there. Let me put these back up. Of course. Push. Just sits in there like that. I see what I did. There. There's a little finger that kind of slides under the front nose fairing that I didn't see. Kind of overkill. I'm using a 3/8 ratchet, but you know, they don't have to be too tight. These one on the side. Right. Let's see if we can start getting put on this right side plastic. So many plastics in this thing. This is just the two big pieces. There's so many little tiny trim pieces. Just make sure you connect the blinker. piece of rubber is missing on the push clip on this one. No big deal. Slider. You're being quite stubborn. Slide in there. It's bent down, that's right. Just a little persuade there. Possible. This fair is fighting me in every which way. Clipping it at all. There's 3 slots here in this nose, and then 3 kind of angled clips, and that's what I'm trying to get in there. There it goes. See, now there's no bulge at that seam like it was before because the clip was pushing against it. Just trying to get it in there. This one has a little scrape damage here, a big scratch here. So fine. I don't know what that. Definitely not from the impact, but maybe rubbing up against it or something. Looks like sandpaper. This one has one of those clips is broken. That one went easier. Okay. Start putting all these little tiny side plastics on. Screw. That's not a nice one to get to. Just drop it. It just dropped. Wind's picking up. Ugh. Definitely jumped the gun on the side fairings. I should have installed these in first. Okay. Getting there, fellas, getting there. Alright, so far we got all the plastics on the left side on. Remaining plastic pieces are the two right side pieces, and then the cover for the tank or ignition, windshield, and mirrors, and then we're good to go. I'm going to be missing one bolt. If you remember from the previous videos, this bolt on the other side stripped, and I had to drill it out, so I got to source one bolt to secure the left side fairing on the bottom there. Alright, so it looks like we have Alright, I'm missing a bolt here. Maybe they got loose in the garage somewhere, but I don't remember one being missing there. So I have to source that one bolt, and then the one for the left side lower fairing, and then we can get the rest of it together. Alright, I managed to find a Phillips head screw, same size, same length. Doesn't look out of place, it's hard to tell. It is a coated screw, whereas these are stainless steel, but it is what it is. I found a screw for the other side, so the fairings are on there. So let's get the rest of it together, and then I'm going to snap some pictures and get it listed. Alright, there she is, finished up. Everything's back together. She's looking good. You know, there's obviously cosmetic flaws on it. It was sitting outside. This piece is a little rusty. It was laid down on the left side, it looks like, prior, or something was rubbed up against that fairing. It was left outside, so these plastic mirrors and kind of some of the black controls have faded a little bit. They sell a product you can wipe on there, but it's a used bike. I don't sell anything flashy or fancy. I sell them as used bikes. They're gonna have scratches. They're gonna have dings. You know, there's a ding on this other side of the tank right here. You know, it is what it is. It's a cheap, it's an affordable bike that anyone can, jump on and ride. Have quite a bit of time on it. I mean, it only has 6,200 miles. It has some aftermarket stuff. It sounds awesome. I mean, that Yoshi pipe is nice. I've never heard of an OEM one with a factory muffler. What they sound like, you probably can't even hear them running. But overall, it was a good experience. This is the newest bike I've ever had. Doing an engine swap. On the next video, we'll start tearing into that old engine to see what we can save, see what I can salvage to try and make up some of the money for the engine that I purchased on eBay. I'm hoping we can get at least a good head and good transmission out of that one. Try and hopefully, I'm hoping I could get $250 to $500 worth of parts out of that old engine to compensate for this one. So stay tuned, guys. I'll let you know. I'll make another video when it sells, and like I said, you'll get the what I have investment, what my investment is in it, and what I sold it for, and then you could see the profit there. Anyway, like and subscribe. There's plenty more projects in the garage. That TL1000R is kicking my butt. That one I'm going to get back on. This one will just sit in the corner until it sells, and we'll move on to the next one. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.